blowing a bit today, blowing straight into the teaching bay here at Whittleby Park. But what do we need to do to help get that ball a little bit lower so we can play the wind a little bit easier? There's a couple of things we need to try and do to help get that ball going a little bit lower, especially if you out there in golf as well, push that ball straight up in the air. The ball's almost going to come back straight back at you if you're playing into the wind. So we need to keep that ball a little bit lower to enable that ball to go roughly the distance that it should do anyway. There's a couple of things we need to do. First and foremost, one of the most important things, we've got to put the ball a little bit further back in the stance. So just between middle of the foot, middle of your feet and right foot. Okay, these are for irons only, again, remember that. So we need to put that ball a little bit further back. Why? Because it'll help just de-loft that golf club just that little bit. If we come in with a sack full of loft, that ball will just pop up in the air and again come straight back at us. So put that ball a little bit further back in the stance. Secondly, when we swing the golf club, don't try and hit it as hard as you possibly can do. So the problem is if you try and hit it as hard as you can, you strike it well, again that ball will pop straight up in the air. Why? Because there's going to be an increase in spin rate. So when we hit that ball as hard as we can do, we're also increasing that spin rate. Assuming we set the ball out the middle of the golf club, that ball will spin right up in the air. So again, no good when we're playing into that wind. Thirdly, probably most importantly, we need to come into the golf ball with very little loft. Okay, we need to come into the golf ball with very little loft. How do we make sure we do that? We feel, again, this goes for right-hand golfers, what we've got to try and feel on the way down, we've got to try and feel that right palm of your hand is pointing down to the ground. What would that mean? Have a look at that golf club. The handle is ahead. When the handle's ahead, what's that doing to the loft? Correct, it's lower loft. So we've got to make sure that right hand as we come in is almost what we call a little bit more cupped as opposed to extending out. What I call sort of the windscreen wipers. We don't want that because that's going to increase the loft. We've got to make sure that right palm is pointing down to the ground for as long as possible. So 3 things: ball back in the stance, nice easy swing, don't try and hit it as hard as you possibly can do. And 3, that feeling, that right palm pointing down towards the ground for as long as possible to help keep that loft down. And when we do those things, we'll see that ball coming out really, really low and not be affected hardly at all by that wind. Hope this helps, hope this makes sense. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button and comment below. Let me know how you're getting on with your golf.